today's video, we'll be installing the AudioControl Epicenter. And so this is just a digital bass processor. It restores the bass in your music that's lost through just the processing, right? So it should fill in some of those gaps and bring in the lows that you might be missing on some of the songs that you listen to. So today we're working on my 2018 Toyota Tacoma, as you can see here. The audio setup on this is pretty simple. So far, I've done nothing to my mid-range speakers. I have upgraded the tweeters, and I do have an 8-inch sub in the back that I'll be pairing this to. So without any further delays, let's get into it. So step one, let's go ahead and disconnect the battery. Please, disregard the engine bay. I've been off-roading a couple of times and I just never got around to cleaning it. But what we're gonna do is disconnect the positive cables from the pole. And so that'll make sure that we are safe from an electrical standpoint. All right, so before we get into the installation, I wanna talk a little bit about my setup. So for the most part, everything is stock, right? I'm running the stock head unit. It's non-JBL. I'm also running the stock door speakers. The only things that I've upgraded or installed includes the tweeters up in the front, and then a 8-inch Rockford Fosgate 300 amp or 300 watt speaker. Right, so I will say this sub definitely adds, a little bit more dynamic to your music. It won't, rock you off your seat, but it definitely will give you that bass, compared to stock. So yeah, we're gonna disconnect this, and then the plan is to install the Epicenter under the chair and run the cable neatly underneath this trimming back to the amp, and then we're gonna pull power and ground from back here. So I already ran power and ground in my previous installation, so let's get into it. Okay, so here I've already uninstalled the 8-inch sub. I wanted to give a quick overview about this. So this is the Rockford Fosgate P300 P3 subwoofer. So it's 300 watts, and you'll see here that it's really narrow, and it definitely fits behind the rear seats of the Tacoma. So it is a tight fit. This is probably the biggest you could go. In the future, I might go with 2 of these. I only have one for now. All right guys, so we are about to wrap up the install of the Epicenter, and so I want to show you how I ran my cables in a 3rd gen Tacoma. So let's talk about the cables that are going into the box. So the cable, one of the important cables running is your input RCAs, right? So this is going to come directly from your head unit. If you have a aftermarket stereo, you should have a slot for it. If you have your factory stereo, do additional research. You should be able to hack into just some of your speaker cables to get input. Next is the output. So once the machine, the Epicenter, actually processes the bass, it needs to output it to the subwoofer. And so that's going through these black cables right here. I have them bunched up just so it looks a little bit neater. And so that goes into the amplifier. You could disregard the splitter right here. This is just specific to the P300 Rockford Fosgate 8-inch that I bought. So going on to the next one is the dash remote. So this is just your volume up and down, right? So if you want to just hear a little bit of the processing output, turn it down. If you want to bang with it, turn it all the way up. It's all based on your preference. Going on to the last set of cables are your remote, your power supply, and your ground. So let's start off with your remote. This is what pretty much takes care of signaling the Epicenter to turn off and on based on the head unit. So whenever your head unit turns on and off, this would turn off and on with it. Next is the power supply, right? So of course, this is needed to power the box itself. This is coming directly from my battery. Do install a fuse, it's highly recommended. Next is the ground. And so I have this ground running to the designated ground on my truck, which if you take a look, I already have sanded the spot where it's gonna go. You can see right there that it's sanded down. It's my same ground that I'm using for my subwoofer. And so that pretty much does it. I'm gonna clean up the cables a little bit more and just slip the box in right here. And I already tested this and it should close, right? So once again, the setup that I have is pretty much not going to rock the wheels and tires off of this truck. However, it will add better audio to it. So it'll give it the low ends that this truck does not come with factory. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Once again, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel for more content. Thank you.